Hi, it's Silver with today's happiness hack. I want to talk today about what's going on with the protesting and the Black Lives Matter. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I found myself this week really feeling sad. On Sunday in particular, I felt really sad about what was going on and the fact that, there's unrest in our country like this. And I'm not used to feeling sad. I'm used to feeling good most of the time. And I really looked at what it was that is appropriate in this moment because I want to acknowledge what's happening, but I also want to stay true to myself, which is that I believe you get more of what you focus on. And I did not want to focus on the negative aspects of this movement. And by negative aspects, I meant I saw the video of George Floyd's death, and that I only needed to see it once. And then I knew what to do was to look at that and say, that's what I no longer want to happen. And then turn my back on that and say, what is it I do want to happen? And so what I really want to do is focus on some of the incredibly beautiful images that I saw. Two come to mind in particular. One was in Orlando, Florida. There were two senior level policemen talking to some of the protesters. And what they did was they knelt down with the protesters and they prayed together. That's an image I want to carry in my heart and in my mind because I believe you get more of what you focus on, and that's what I want to see more of. There was another image where I saw a policeman with his arm around one of the protesters just sharing a joke. And I thought that was important too. Now I also want to distinguish between the peaceful protesters and the opportunistic looters because they're two different things. But I talk about this now because sometimes it feels like when this sort of thing goes on around us that we need to feel bad about it in order to affect change, and nothing could be further from the truth. I was an ardent feminist for many years. I was an angry feminist. And one of the things after I learned about that you get more of what you focus on, I realized I did more damage to the cause because I was continually focused on what I didn't want, which was to be treated differently because I was a woman. And I should have spent more time focusing on what I did want, which was equal opportunity under the law. And when I look back now, I realize I would have done things a lot differently. So the happiness hack for this week is to really focus on what it is you want. Focusing on what you don't want will just get you more of that and more things that match that feeling. And focusing on what you don't want doesn't make you happy. It makes me miserable. It doesn't feel good. So look and see what can you, no matter what's going on in your life, whether it's that you're upset about what's happening with the Black Lives Matter protests, or whether there's something else in your life that's more close to home for you, don't look at what you don't want. I'm going to contradict myself here. Do look at what you don't want long enough to recognize that that's what you don't want, and then turn your full attention to this is what I do want, and start imagining that happening. It sounds Pollyannish, but I can tell you that I am in recovery from 30 years of clinical depression, and the magic key for me is when I stopped focusing on all the misery in my life and started focusing on what was working, and I started attracting more and more of things that were working. So this week, focus on what you want, focus on what makes your heart happy, and watch what happens. So this is Hi Ho Silver saying, away!